Right now, through the beginning of 2025, is gearing up to be the best time to purchase a property since before the pandemic. Home buying conditions continue to improve across the country, and that's because of three main reasons. The first is that home buyer demand is at a 30-year low. Not many people right now are in the market to purchase a property, which means competition is lower than we've seen over the past few years. There's less multiple offer situations going on. Now, at the same time, inventory is starting to build. Inventory is still low on a historical level, but it's higher than what we've seen over the past few years, meaning there's more homes available for people to purchase. Buyers have more options. Now, with those two things in mind, mortgage rates are starting to come down. Mortgage rates are right around 6% now across the country. Here in Vermont, the best mortgage rate you can get right now is at 5.75%, which is lower than we've seen in the past 18 months. So all three of those factors make right now and likely moving through at the beginning of 2025 the best time to purchase a property. Now, you may be asking yourself, will conditions improve further? Will prices drop or will mortgage rates continue to drop, making things more affordable for home buyers out there and making the market better for you as a home buyer? Well, I think as far as prices go, it depends on where you are in the US housing market. If you're in a market like Florida or Texas, around the Austin area, inventory is much higher than it was in 2019. And because of that, that imbalance between high inventory and a 30-year low of home buyer demand, there's a good chance that home prices will drop in those markets. But throughout the rest of the country, inventory is still relatively low. Inventory is actually still lower on a national basis than any point we've seen over the past 40 years. Now, that's excluding 2020, 2021, and 2022 because those markets were highly competitive with extremely low inventory. But if you take those years out and look back to 1985, we've never seen this few homes on the market, meaning there's not much inventory out there. So we're in the markets where there's not much inventory throughout most of the country. We're not likely to see home prices crash, right? There's not enough inventory to make home prices come down. Now, in terms of mortgage rates, I do think mortgage rates will continue to drop as we move into 2025, right? The Federal Reserve is beginning to cut their Fed funds rate, which should bring mortgage rates down as we move into the future. Now, the risk there is homebuyer demand is already at a 30-year low. How much lower can homebuyer demand go? My bet is that this is as low as we're going to see it. And as mortgage rates start to come down, more home buyers are going to jump into the housing market, making the market more competitive for you as a purchaser. Yes, mortgage rates are likely to come down, which will make housing more affordable for home buyers out there, but competition will likely increase, which could cause the market to heat back up like we saw in 2020, 2021, and 2022. So right now, I think we're in a Goldilocks opportunity where not many home buyers have caught on to the fact that mortgage rates have come down slightly. Inventory is up year over year. It's higher than we've seen over the past few years, albeit it's still at historic low levels. But because home buyer demand is at a 40-year low, inventory is starting to build in many markets across the country. So I do think right now is a great time to purchase a property, and these conditions are likely to continue through the beginning of 2025. Now, as we move throughout 2025, it's tough to know exactly what the housing market will look like. Of course, we'll cover that on this channel, but I'm also putting my money where my mouth is. I am out there looking to purchase a property between now and the beginning of 2025 because I believe that this is a great opportunity. Now, I'm looking for a multifamily property, which is a duplex, triplex, or a 2 to 3 unit property. So I can use some of the income that I receive for rents to lower my mortgage payment and ideally offset my mortgage payment entirely, which is a great strategy for a first time homebuyer out there or anybody looking to build wealth. So we're going to go over the stats in this video. I'm going to back up the claims that I made with these statistics. But before we do, my name is Liam O'Reilly. I'm a realtor with Jerry Riley Real Estate. If you have any real estate needs, reach out to me directly. All of my contact information is in the description, and I'd be happy to help you whether you're looking in Vermont or in another part of the country. So the first thing that we are going to take a look at here is the Redfin weekly market update to see what's going on with the housing market. We see here overall median sales price hasn't dropped significantly, right? We're seeing the median sales price level out, which is what I've predicted will happen and what likely will continue to happen throughout the beginning of 2025. Now, at the same time, we see here that the housing payments are lower than they were last year, meaning if you're getting a mortgage, even though prices are more expensive, it's actually cheaper to buy a home using a mortgage. Your mortgage payment will be lower this year than it was last year, even though prices are higher. Now, when I was discussing inventory earlier, we see here that active listings of homes for sale are up 17% year over year. They're up even above 2022 levels, where 2022, if you remember, that's when the Federal Reserve started their rate hike cycle. When mortgage rates started to increase, there was a lot of fear in the market. Now, 2023 had mortgage rates at around 8% at this time of year in the fall of 2023, but inventory is significantly above that point in time. Now, it is trending down, but because home buyer demand is so low, we're likely to see more inventory on the market than we saw over the past few years. Now, if we take a look at the historical inventory charts, we can see here, this is where we are. We're at 1.3 million homes for sale active on the market as of July, the most recent data. We can see that, yes, there were fewer homes for sale in 2022 and 2021. But if we look back over the past 40 years, back to 1985, we see in 1985, there were 2 million homes for sale. And the low point here in 1995, there were 1.5 million homes for sale. So there's less inventory on the market today than any point over the past 40 years, excluding the pandemic lows. So we have more inventory than we've seen over the past few years, which is great for home buyers. But at the same time, it's still historically low, which is why I mentioned at the beginning of this video, when mortgage rates start to come down and home buyers jump back into the housing market, we could see the housing market spark like it did in 2021, 2022, and some parts of 2023, just because inventory is so low. Now, as we scroll down here, we see the month supply of homes available is at 3.8 months. It's almost a balanced market out there. Between 4 months and 6 months supply is considered a balanced housing market. Over 6 months is considered a buyer's market. And under 6 months, which is where we've been for the past few years, if we look back in 2021, there were about 2 months supply of homes on the market across the country. So that was a heavy seller's market, right? Homes were selling for well over list price. Now we're approaching that 4 month supply of inventory, which is considered a balanced market, right? Buyers have more leverage in 2024 than they did in 2023, 2022, or 2021. Now, the next thing that I want to show you is this chart that we've gone over many times in my recent videos, but I think it's a crucial chart to look at, and it's where housing inventory is compared to 2019 levels. Now, if we look at most of the country here, we see that there's less inventory on the market than there was in 2019, and that's reflected in the overall housing data. We have July of 2024 is at 1.3 million homes. If we look at July of 2019, we see there was 1.9 million homes. So less homes on the market this year compared to 2019 on average across the country. But certain markets have significantly more inventory this year than in 2019. If we take a look at Lakewood, Winter Haven, Florida, there's 50% more homes on the market in 2024 than were on the market in 2019. Same thing with Austin, Texas, 41% more homes on the market than 2019. So I think those markets, the markets where there's more inventory, home buying conditions are likely to improve further from where they are today and where they will be at the beginning of 2025, right? We could see home prices come down. And the reason why is because there's so much inventory on the market that even if home buyer demand ticks up as mortgage rates fall, prices could still fall in those areas. But if you're in a market like Hartford that has 78 fewer homes, 78% less homes on the market than 2019, even if home buyer demand picks up in Hartford, Connecticut, or any of these markets where there's less inventory than 2019, even the New York City market, 50% less inventory than 2019. If home buyer demand picks up in that market, we're likely to see home prices start to increase, which is why right now, while home buyer demand is so low, while inventory is up year over year, if we take a look at this New York market, we can see down at the bottom, inventory last year in 2023 was at 33,000 homes for sale. June of 2024 was at 34,000 homes. So there's more inventory this year than there was last year, right? There's more homes available. That's why right now could be the Goldilocks opportunity, right? There's mortgage rates have come down since last year. Mortgage rates sit below 6%. If we take a look at New England Federal Credit Union, we see here, I'm not pulling this number up out of thin air. We see that rate for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, 3.75%. according to New England Federal Credit Union. Now those are their high priority borrowers. Those are people with the best credits, but it's still lower than we've seen over the past 18 months or so. So mortgage rates are down. There's not much competition. There's more inventory, meaning that right now is likely the best time to purchase. And this will continue throughout the beginning of 2025. At least that's what I see in the housing market. Of course, beyond the beginning of 2025, it's difficult to predict. We don't know where mortgage rates are going to be. We don't know how competitive the market's going to be. And we don't know if we're going to be in a recession and what the economy will look like. So overall, you have to use this inventory to make the best decision for your home purchase or home sale. I would say, generally speaking, as long as you have an outlook of around 10 years or so, you're going to buy this home, you're going to live in it for 10 years and then sell, you should be okay. At least that's what the data says. Now, if you're in a market, if you're looking to purchase in Florida or Texas, it might be worth holding off another 6 months, to see what happens to home prices and potentially purchase a property at a lower interest rate today and a lower price than today. But I think if you're in a market with fewer inventory than 2019, where inventory is still low on a historic basis, then you're better off sacrificing what would be a lower mortgage rate in the future, taking advantage of the recent drop in mortgage rates and securing a home without much competition. Because once competition floods back into the market, I think it's likely that home prices will increase in these markets, or at least competition will increase, making it more difficult to purchase a property. So let me know what you guys think. Leave me a comment. I love reading your comments and learning from you folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.